Our Patriots insider Jeff Howe from The Athletic Boston joins us, and this is a story of a game that offered many different storylines. I mean, another drive by Brady to win the game down the end. You talked about the cushy piece you were getting set to right on the Leyden and Roberts, and then all of a sudden the defense, which has been so great throughout the whole season, wasn't able to get it done down the stretch tonight.
A 13-play drive on the heels of a 9-play scoring drive. Over those last 2 scoring drives they gave up, they only forced 3 third downs. So the Dolphins were moving, and they were moving efficiently. So there was very minimal resistance. And, I mean, it was the whole second half, though. The Dolphins had 4 possessions in the second half. They scored on 3 of them. So when the Patriots needed the defense to make that one stop, for the first time all season, they really, truly couldn't get it in the second half of what was a close game. And this is now the second consecutive game the defense hasn't forced a turnover. So, again, when you can tell that the offense is sputtering, when you need, whether it was special teams or defense, to come out and try to win the game for you, to save the offense, this time they just couldn't do it.
So, Jeff, now we're left in a scenario so similar to 2015 where the team stumbles down the stretch. They were knocked out that year in the championship game in Denver. You just got to hope this team can even get to a championship game given the path they got to follow.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, for a long stretch this season, this really did feel more like 2015 than any other year because they had that great start. They were undefeated through 8 weeks this year, 10 weeks the 2015 season before injuries started to pile up and take their toll. That's when the offense started to struggle a lot more. So you wonder, how healthy are they? Can they make that run? And then last week against Buffalo changed that whole perception in my mind. I mean, I thought they were playoff ready in a playoff atmosphere. It was like, okay, if they come to play like this, they can beat any team in the league. And then they come and they lay a complete dud against the Dolphins, who, for a good chunk of the season, were in the running for the #1 pick in the draft and had nothing to play for. You bring a Dolphins team or any team from down south up to New England in December, it doesn't have a lot going for it, they check out pretty quickly. The Patriots allowed them to hang around, which is a huge mistake. A lot of that because they just were charitable with their final possession of the first half, and they gave the Dolphins something to play for in the second half. And when they did, I mean, it's shocking that the Dolphins were the better team down the stretch.
Let's talk about the end of that second quarter and the fact that they had 3 timeouts, didn't use them. What was your take on Belichick's explanation after the game about that?
I didn't buy it, honestly. I mean, they came, like, I get it. Yeah, if Sony Michel comes out and runs for a first down in that first play, yeah, I'm sure they are going to take a timeout. But why didn't you take a timeout on that defensive stop just before then? You allowed 40 seconds to run off the clock. And then you come out with a timid running play that loses 2 yards, and then a second down run, and you take it right to the half. As I'm thinking in real time, and Brady basically said the same thing after the game, this was Belichick sending a message to the offense that you didn't deserve to have this possession. You don't deserve to go out and go for it. Well, then you assume, like I think we all did, the Patriots were going to turn it on in the second half, win the game, and we're all going to look back and say, well, what were you thinking? But no, instead, this is the Patriots now having 24 seconds at the end of the game and needing a field goal. Well, you know what? If they went for it at the end of the first half, maybe they have 24 seconds to go try to win the game. And the circumstances are just different. When you're in a tight game, you can't just give away possessions, especially with a first-round bye on the line. That's sending a message. That was an extremely expensive message to send.
Big time. So now this team has earned the benefit of the doubt for 2 decades. There's no question about that, given everything they've accomplished. But it comes down to, in your gut, do you have the feeling that this is it? Do you have a feeling that this team can rally, given the circumstances they now face? 1, wild card home game, and then 2, likely, playoff games on the road. Can this team get it done, bottom line?
They can. I can't sit here on the field right now. I mean, shoot, some of the players who just played in this game that lost to the Dolphins still haven't even left the stadium. So it's hard to sit here and say what I just saw. I can feel very good about their chances to go on a run here. What I saw 8 days ago tells me that when they're at their best, absolutely they can. I think the recipe is you got to get the defense back in order. I don't know what happened. It's just a bad day for the defense against a team that they shouldn't have a bad day against. The running game has performed a lot better in December, and if they can have that dominant physical running game in the playoffs, then again you can do a lot more. It's a tough road. They can, because we know what their ceiling is. We saw it against Buffalo. But can you do it consistently enough to keep surviving and advancing in the playoffs? That's a lot to ask right now.
Man, who would have thought we'd be here on this day? You called it an alarm clock game last week, and the answer is
they didn't set them.
They didn't set the alarms.
I had plans next week. I didn't expect I was going to have to cover a game.
A lot of people changed their plans for Wild Card Weekend. I saw the stat: the only 3 teams in the NFL that had not played a Wild Card game in this decade were the Browns, the Bucks, and the Patriots.
That's elite company right there.
It changes next week. That's Jeff Howe from The Athletic Boston. You can follow all of his stuff on The Athletic. Obviously, he's going to have some interesting things to say over the course of what will be a very intense week here in Foxborough.